This is D, and let's dress for life. That's what's up. Are you stronger than a leaf? Before you say yes, you need to realize that many can pick it up, but few can drop it. Among those who could not drop it were Dr. Bob Smith, Bill Wilson, and the First Lady of AA, Miss Marty Mann. All three of these were founders and the building blocks of AA. And what was AA? AA is the strongest, the most well-known helping program for assisting individuals in breaking alcohol addiction. They could not drop the leaf. Were they alone? At a glance, Targeting Tobacco Use, the nation's leading cause of preventable death, from 2008 is a book that shares that 400,000 plus individuals die annually from smoking and secondhand smoke. 8.6 million individuals have tobacco-related illness. 45 million individuals use cigarettes alone. I don't know if that includes vaping, and I don't know if that includes tobacco, chewing, and snuff. Tobacco use isn't, and sadly, tobacco use isn't like a drop dead things. So, it's not something that you use once and all of a sudden you fall over dead. It's something that individuals can do for a long period of time. But unfortunately, what does happen over a long period of time might be cancer. And what type of cancer? Whew, you pick it. Bladder, cervical, esophageal, kidney, laryngeal, oral, pancreatic, stomach, or even leukemia. And the thing is, an individual can have an increased risk of cataracts, hip fracture, low bone density, as well as reproductive health issues. Reproductive health issues, just think about this. Children with low birth weight, pregnancy complications, and by the way, this is from the CDC, reduced lung functioning of the infants, as well as respiratory disease found in children and teenagers, all from tobacco use. And I had to ask, with the likelihood of all of this, why would individuals continue to use tobacco? Well, we'd like to think at De-Stress there are probably three reasons. Number one, because of what nicotine does to the brain. Number two, the quick benefits. And number three, Miss A&T. Let's hit number one, nicotine on the brain. I had to take you through these steps real quick. The brain has billions of nerve cells, and these nerve cells are called neurons. These neurons have to communicate with each other, and they communicate with each other by messengers. These messengers go between the neurons, and these messengers are called neurotransmitters. And certain neurons release the neurotransmitter dopamine. And what does dopamine do? Dopamine triggers the limbic system. And this system is responsible for learning, for memory, for feelings, for appetite, and pleasure. In fact, the limbic system is called the pleasure pathway. Nicotine, you have to realize, is an addictive component of tobacco. It's my understanding that nicotine is not deadly, but it is addictive, and it causes the neuron for dopamine to release more dopamine than should be released. More dopamine than would be released by eating an apple. More dopamine that would be released by walking a trail or going for a run. It only takes 7 to 10 seconds for the nicotine to affect the system. The result is number two, quick benefits. And what are those quick benefits? improved ability to focus. Some individuals, as they were under stress, found themselves of clearer minds when they smoked cigarettes. Being more alert. You're in a high stress situation and you need to be able to focus and see what's going on around you. That's why you have some individuals who smoke cigarettes. And an overall better mood. The limbic system is activated with any pleasurable activity. And what it does is it reminds us of those pleasurable activities. And just think about it this way. You have someone who's under an incredible load of stress. The limbic system remembers where you can find the pleasure, where you can find the peace to overcome, to override the perplexities of life. And think about the areas in which the limbic system is involved. Eating. But unfortunately, you put eating with stress and you can get obesity. Sex. But you put sex with stress and what can you get? STDs, unplanned pregnancies. Alcohol. Alcohol with stress, you get alcohol-related crimes, alcohol-related accidents. And then nicotine, which leads us to number 3, Miss A&T. But before I hit you with that, I encourage you to like, subscribe, comment, share. Also, click the notification bell so you can be notified of our next video. And please go to www.destressmethod.com for more resource information. Number 3, Miss A&T. A beautiful, determined sister. She attended North Carolina A&T. She married a strapping soldier. And I need to say, she was as rough as she was beautiful. Her husband was dealing with PTSD, but there was a day where he was trying to deal with his PTSD and he hauled off and slapped her. This beautiful, rough, determined sister didn't call the police. She didn't call her 4 brothers who would have rolled up and given him the treatment. She managed it herself using a heavy-duty kitchen utensil. And for the next 30 years of their marriage, he managed his PTSD in a much more productive manner. There are many more stories that I could tell you, but sadly, one story that I cannot tell you is that she was strong enough to put down the leaf. They resulted in her ever so untimely death from tobacco-related cancer. If you don't smoke, don't start. If you do, begin with the tiniest steps to stop cigarette smoking. Whether you use the patch, whether you use the gum, whether you go cold turkey, whether you donate all your tobacco money to De-Stress Method, whether you use cognitive behavioral therapy, whether you use one of the above or whether you use all of the above, just get started. Your life and your livelihood are depending on you. Well, that's all we got for now. This is D, and Less Stress for Life. That's what's up. Peace.